Hello, my name is Joe. I'm a student here at J-Tech in Jacksonville, Florida. Today I want to talk to you about some of the critical engine components, and right now we're looking at a 98 Peterbilt with a Cat engine. And I'll apologize in advance if you hear some loud banging. It's because we're in the shop, but I'll try and keep going. So on the passenger side of the engine, you have several components. You've got, let's start with the water pump. The water pump is right back here, and that is what supplies coolant to the engine. Pulls it from the radiator and the reservoir, sends it into the engine, keeps the engine cool. Next we have our turbo, and what a turbo does is it uses the exhaust to spin a turbine, which then gets sent back into the engine, which in turn increases power and reduces emission and improves efficiency of the motor. Now next is an oil cooler, and it does exactly like what it sounds like. It's essentially a radiator for the oil. Keeps the oil at a cooler temperature. Next, we have an accessory pulley here, right next to the alternator, and what that does is it helps take the workload off of the alternator and battery by supplying power to all the accessories in the truck, CB, radio, power inverters, that sort of thing. The exhaust manifold, which is right back here, and what that does is it takes the exhaust from the engine and sends it into the exhaust system, whether it be the turbo or actual muffler. Okay, now we're at the front of the engine, and one thing we have up here is the aftercooler mounted to the front of the radiator. And what that does is it cools the exhaust after it leaves the turbo and before it enters the engine. Also, we have the vibration dampener, and what that does is reduces torsional vibration caused by the truck, which essentially then is keeping the engine balanced. One final thing I want to mention on this side of the engine before we move to the driver's side is your thermostat housing, which is located right here. And again, that does exactly like the name implies. It houses the thermostat. Now we're on the driver's side of the truck, and the first thing I want to look at over here is our air compressor. This compresses air, sends it through the air lines, and the air is then stored pressurized in the air tanks towards the back of the truck. Air tanks then supply our brakes and any accessories that might be ran off of there, such as air seats, air cushion seats, that sort of thing. Next we have our electronic control module, which is right back here, plugged into the side of the engine. This is basically the brain of the truck itself. It monitors all the sensors and will alert you if there's an issue. Then we also have our intake manifold. Air comes in from the front of the truck, and this is where it enters the engine for the internal combustion. And then finally, we have our fuel pump here, and again, it does exactly like it sounds like. Pumps fuel from the tanks into the engine, provides the fuel supply to the engine. And finally, if you look right up here, on the engine is a stamp which has the engine serial number, which is different than the vehicle VIN, and the model number of the engine. Sometimes these are located on the top of the engine. Some of the newer trucks are putting it in the glove box, but for each truck you just kind of have to figure out where it's at. that gives you that information. All right, that about wraps it up. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.